Hey everyone, welcome to High School Dropouts Advice. If you guys need subtitles, the subtitles are still here. Just click on the subtitle button. Usually it takes like 1 to 2 hours to display. Today we are talking about Xpeng. There was a couple of good news regarding Xpeng, and I believe we should rethink this company's evaluation for the long term. For the ones first time hearing about Xpeng is a smart EV car manufacturer from China. As you can see in their profile, they are trading for around $32 per stock with a 22.9 billion market cap, which is a very cheap evaluation when you compare it with Tesla's 593.9 billion and NIO 56.3 billion, and CCIV, Luxit Motors, which evaluation is at the moment at 37.5 billion. Let me explain you the math here because you might only see 6 billion. CCIV gets 16% of Luxit Motors when the merger is complete. So the math is 6 billion divided by 16% multiplied by 100% to find out the total market cap, which is 37.5 billion. If you are not familiar with the market cap comparison, let me explain this in a couple of words. The market cap is the value people see in the company. The higher the market cap, the more value people see in the company. If the company deserves it or not is another question. We can agree that popular stock might have a high market cap but could be fundamentally weaker than a company with a lower market cap. I'm the opinion if Xpeng had been listed on the stock exchange before NIO, the dynamic would have been very different. Don't get me wrong, I'm bullish on both and I own both stocks, but this is a fact that the first mover of a trend get the most attention. Let us cover a couple of news about Xpeng so you understand more at what stage of development this company is at the moment. You might have heard about Xpeng just absolving the 7-day-long expedition, which was a 3,675 kilometers or 2,284-mile tour through China. It had to go through different terrains, weather and driving conditions. The tour was a success, which was followed by around 200 EV journalists who joined the tour. The stats are pretty impressive. For every 100 kilometers, a human driver needs to intervene about 0.65 times to 1.7 times. Automatic lane changes and overtaking have been quite successful, and you can see this from their data.
NGP is built on the XPilot 3.0 Advanced Driver Assist System, which includes 12 ultrasonic wave sensors, 5 high-precision millimeter wave radars, 14 autonomous driving cameras, and 1 in-car camera with HD mapping and high-precision positioning. All that input requires a lot of computing power, so the P7 was the first production vehicle to take advantage of NVIDIA's Xavier computing platform.
Here is a small clip about their NGP system from the YouTube channel of Wheelsboy. If you want to watch the whole video of his with the full review of the car, I will link it down below. Xpeng is the only 360-degree dual perception system in the industry with better identification of the surrounding. It also has the most powerful positioning capability among production models. Xpeng also had a test to navigate without GPS during the 3,675 kilometer expedition. They also have an all-voice in-car system allowing driver to comprehensively cover all main aspects of the driving control, vehicle control and infotainment ecosystem. It's also the first car to respond to continuous driver-vehicle dialogues and execute 10 voice commands every 25 seconds. We have to remember, the CEO, He Xiaoping, is coming from a software background. He became a billionaire when he sold his company UCWeb to Alibaba. He wanted Alibaba to manufacture smart cars, but Jack Ma declined, so he co-founded Xpeng. Because of his tech background, he aims to create not just EV cars, but smart EV cars. You might not know this, but they even have a concept for flying cars. So the company is very forward thinking. The X-Pilot 3.0 system, which is released in their flagship P7, is an autonomous level 3 driving system. Level 3.5 will be released in 2022 and they expect to get to level 5 in 2025. This is actually behind Tesla's development, where Elon Musk told us that we would see it at the end of 2021. Elon Musk did not always keep his deadline, but overall I do not doubt that Tesla is ahead. But I think you should look at this little clip here.
It does not work quite as well in China as it does in the US, because still most of our engineering is in the US, and so that tends to be the local loop of optimization. So Autopilot tends to work the best in California because that's where the engineers are, and then once it works in California, then we then extend it to the rest of the world.
So Elon admits that California's autonomous driving system must be redesigned and rewritten for the Chinese streets and traffic. XPeng might have an advantage here because they are developing domestically. Overall, the P7 XPeng flagship has the best sales, and over 20,000 are already sold. Unlike NIO, XPeng has its own car manufacturing factories, as you can see here in their clip. This is their first factory with a capacity of 100,000 per year, with their own battery manufacturing site. You can see the robots painting, cutting, framing and assembling, all in this video. The original video is a 4-minute clips, which I will link below. I will put all my video sources in the description so you can watch it in detail if you like to. Their factory is very modern and very competitive. The capacity of 100,000 might be a little low. XPeng know this, and they already secured financing with Guangzhou GET investment for $589 million plus $191 million, which goes directly into the plant's construction, and another $175 million for the equipment. So XPeng is scaling up in a very drastic fashion. NIO has no manufacturing factory and is outsourcing its project to car builders like state-owned JAC. Volkswagen, the German car producing giant, bought a majority of the ownership of GAC and owned the plant with a 75% majority. In theory, Volkswagen can kick NIO out in 2023 and build their own EVs in China with that plant. I made a video up here about Volkswagen, which you can watch, but I will also put the link in the description. So NIO has to find other partners. They found it with GAC, but you might understand the problem we will have with NIO. In the race of expanding to Europe, XPeng is leading. They already have their cars sold in Norway. Norway is the most aggressive country in the world, with its phase-out stage starting in 2025. The phase-out stage is the time when countries decide not to allow sales of fossil-fueled cars. We already have 10% of the EV cars adoption in Norway, and we have around 60% of EV cars sold in Norway versus 40% being classic cars in 2020. XPeng notices this trend and is ahead of NIO. I mentioned earlier in this video, being the first mover is a big advantage. I think from a car maker versus car maker standpoint, XPeng is doing good versus his competitors and deserves being on a higher evaluation. CCIV, Luxit Motors, have no car delivered yet, but is evaluated around 50% higher than XPeng, which got a finished product that does quite well. We all know that Luxit got one of the best specs out there. But we have to admit that many people will be okay with lower specs. We don't need 2.5 seconds from 0 to 60 miles per hour and 300 miles range. For the average daily driver, the average specs of the EV cars are already better than our old internal combustion engine cars. We also need to pay attention to the tension between China and the USA, which creates more volatility in Chinese stocks. So, when you decide to invest in Chinese stocks, be mentally prepared to see bigger than usual swings. But bigger swings doesn't mean that the company is riskier or shady. It just means that the stock is more vulnerable to the noise created in politics and social media. Let me also tell you that we are in the early stage of the EV revolution, and the companies we are investing in might turn into something very different than we expect. Tesla is a tech company, where other industries like renewable energy are not much talked about in public. NIO is more trying to become a lifestyle brand. The car making is only one part of NIO. There's also NIO House, NIO Mortgage. They even have their beer and soon wine. So don't be surprised, shocked or scared about what happens to your car company. The most important as an investor is knowing their CEO and leaders and what they try to achieve. As long as their interest aligns with yours, stay invested. As an investor, we need to invest with an open mind and follow the CEO's lead when necessary. The company's agenda is more critical than the daily graph, because once the company fulfills the agenda, the money will follow. At this point, I have to say for legal reasons that I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Do your own due diligence and remember that your money is your responsibility. And please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed watching it. Please also share it with your loved ones and check out my other videos on my channel. Many thanks and see you hopefully in the next video. Thank you, bye!